Has been in the past. One win here at the Emirates, but every time I come here, I've got a chance and I play well. It's a nice, it's a great way to start the season. I've done this the last few years where I've played Abu Dhabi. I've taken another week off to practice and then come here and play in Dubai. So looking forward to the week. Played 9 holes yesterday. Played the pro-am just there. The course is in fantastic shape. The greens are as good as I've ever seen them. So yeah, looking forward to it. Feel like my game's in good shape. So see what I can do.
Yeah, given your form, should be expecting to at least continue.
I would like to think so. I'm very happy with where my game is, tee to green. I put some good work in over the last week on my short game, which I felt needed a little bit of sharpening up from Abu Dhabi. So hopefully I can just keep it going, and I've got 4 days to try and get back on the victory trail, and it feels like a long time since my last win, so it'll be nice to get another one pretty soon and start the year off and head to the States with a victory under my belt.
Thank you. Some questions, Joy?
Rory, obviously you finished second on the European Tour in your last 3 starts. First of all, how would you like to break that streak over here? Secondly, when you're playing this well, is there a benchmark that you set for yourself that you've got to finish in top 5 in every tournament? Would you be disappointed if you finish outside the top 5, say 6th or 7th?
I'm disappointed if I don't win, to be honest. But I mean, I think everyone should feel that way. I don't think that's just me. You're coming here to try and win events. You're not here to try and finish in the top 5. Sometimes you walk away from a week and you're satisfied with the top 5 because you haven't played that well, so you've done the best out of the week, but you're still disappointed that you couldn't perform better. But so I guess that's a benchmark. You're going in there trying to win every event that you do play. And I definitely like to break the runners-up duck the right way rather than the wrong way. So we'll see, but I'm comfortable on this golf course and I have good memories here, and I seem to play the course very well. So hopefully I can continue to do that this week.
Rory, in those second places you look at and think that you should have won rather than people beat you? And is it easier to accept, obviously, when it's out of your hands anyway?
I think Ollie Wilson did really well to win the Dunhill. I didn't feel like I lost that in any way. I was a little disappointed. I got a very lucky break on 18 in DP World in November, and didn't take advantage of it. Didn't make birdie at the last. That would have got me into the playoff. So I felt like I could have done better there. And last week, I was disappointed that I didn't play the week before Abu Dhabi. I didn't play well in the 3rd day and thought I'd left myself too much to do. And then, Martin had that, that bad run of holes, and that let a few people back into it. But I don't feel like I lost any in any way. I feel like I could have maybe done a better job of coming down the stretch on the back 9 at DP World, but apart from that, I feel like I played well the other times.
Rory, this is your last event outside America before the Masters. Do you feel the excitement building on the things you're working on now, but thinking ahead to it?
Yeah, I'm working on everything. I'm not really working on my game looking ahead towards it. I'm just trying to make everything as good as it possibly can be. But I guess there's a few things that I'm happy with in my game that, say if Augusta was to roll around next week, I'd be happy going there knowing that I'm hitting the ball the way I want to. But I think it's important just to put in some good performances before that and get into contention and feel what it's like in the heat of the moment, because that's when you really know how your game is and how it holds up under some pressure. So I've got a few chances to do that over the next few weeks, and hopefully I can, and that'll really let me know where my game is heading into the first major of the year.
I feel like it's getting closer, does it? feel more excitement?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is, you've got the sort of, they've started in the States, and obviously this week over there is a big week. Tiger back, and Phil's playing, and the Super Bowl in Phoenix as well. Obviously that's going to be a huge week over there, and people are excited for that. We've got a great field over here for this week. Henrik and Martin and G-Mac, and all the other guys that are playing. So it's, it feels like, the golf season as well has really begun, and it won't be long until the Masters rolls around.
So much has happened, Rory, since the first win here. I mean, when you're back on the course, do you look at the bunker on 18 and think that's when it all started, and sort of have to pinch yourself for what's happened since?
I said to JP today, it's been 6 years since that win, and it hasn't been a bad 6 years. It's been okay. So, but yeah, it's this is I first played in this tournament 10 years ago, which is hard to imagine. But it's been great, and I've obviously enjoyed it, and it's a great place to come back to. And if this was the place of my first victory as a pro, so always have good memories. And I guess it was where it all began. It's I felt like the end of 08 I started to play some really good golf. I've been in a couple of playoffs and got myself into the top 50 in the world. But I guess when you get your first win, I feel like you move to a different level, which is nice.
Yeah.
Rory, the Ryder Cup captaincy sort of situation looks like it's going to hot up in the next month or so, and we've heard from Miguel saying that he'd like the job with a passion. You've spoken about Darren Clarke's sort of candidature as well. What's your take on the situation as the committee starts to get ready?
Yeah, it's. I think they're going to have a tough decision. Like, I always thought Darren would be a perfect fit for captaincy in the States. People love him over there, and he'll do well. But at the same time, people love Miguel anywhere he goes, and the more he plays on the Champions Tour, he won last week. He's going to become more popular as well. So, they have a tough decision on their hands. They're both, quality candidates and great players in their own right. So, I mean, it's not up to me at the end of the day, and as long as I'm on the team and they decide to play me, I'm happy enough.
But would you expect to be sort of consulted by the committee?
I think so. I mean, I haven't really been consulted about it as of yet. So, as I said, it's not really. I guess in a way it is something to do with me, because hopefully I'll be on the team. But at the same time, it's up to them to make a decision. I mean, if I'm going to be a little biased. Darren's a good friend of mine and from Northern Ireland and everything. So it would be great to see him get the captaincy. But at the same time, if it was to be Miguel, then I'd have no problems with that either.
Well,
I was just going to ask a sort of stats-related question. I was just looking at your sort of strokes gained in putting last year on the PGA Tour, and you went from about 120th to 41st. Just wondering what you sort of did to improve that.
I figured something out on the 6th green at Augusta on the Sunday, sort of just by myself. Alignment was a little bit off, and I just started doing a couple of things in my routine. I putt a lot with that mirror that people have probably seen me out and about with on the putting greens, and just trying to put a little more structure around it, I guess, and it's really helped. I didn't putt as well as I would have liked last week, but I don't think it was anything to do with technically. It was more just reading the greens, and felt like I was starting the ball on line. But so that was really it. I sort of got to the point at the Masters last year where I really was, I just wasn't comfortable with it, and I needed to go in a new direction and start to work a little bit on my own again, and actually consulted my good friend Harry Diamonds, and we worked a little bit on it when I went home for a couple of weeks after the Masters, and I've just kept with it ever since.
I'll just ask a quick follow-up. What areas of your game are you looking to improve this year then?
Everything, I guess. I think one area of my game that I could probably get better at is my wedge play from 80 to 130 yards, because I do leave myself a lot of shots from that distance in, if I'm driving the ball well, and I feel like for the most part I do take advantage, but even if it saves me 1 or 2 strokes a tournament where I can just get my wedge play a little sharper, it can make a big difference. So it's something I've been trying to work on a little bit the last few weeks. And you know, as I said, I mean, I'm very comfortable if I'm driving the ball, so I'm giving myself plenty of chances, and it's just from there, it's being as efficient as I possibly can, you know, converting those chances and not being wasteful.
Rory, just want to go back to that win here in 09. I wonder, on the Sunday evening when you'd done all the media and you were sat down enjoying the win and you were talking with your team and you probably were making expectations and plans for the next season, next couple of years, 3-4 years. Now here you're sat here, are you way beyond those expectations you had on that Sunday night after you'd won in your career?
I've never really thought that far ahead, to be honest. I've sort of just taken it week by week, year by year. But did I think then that I'd be sitting here having achieved what I have? Probably not. You know, so in a way I have exceeded my expectations. But I never put a goal of I want to do this by the time I'm 25. I want to do this by I'm 30. You know, it's a long career. There's no point in setting these milestones because we've seen in golf there's very early starters that have success early and then sort of fade away, or you have late bloomers that find success in their mid to late 30s and they have a good stretch of maybe 10 years. You know, golf's very different than other sports. I mean, we potentially have a period of 20 years where we can be competitive and win at the highest level. Not a lot of sports can allow you to do that. So that's why there's never any rush in this game, and you try and do things the right way. And if it takes a little bit more time, that's fine, because you have the luxury of time on your side in this game, and you try and use that.
Just a quick follow-up to that as well. In Abu Dhabi, you were telling us about the boarding pass and what you've written down for this year. Is that as far as it goes? You don't look ahead at all past this season?
No, not at all. No, I don't see any reason to or any point to. I just take, as I said, week by week, year by year. That's what works best for me. I don't know if other people do it differently than that, but for me, I sort of just take it as it comes and try and do the best with what I have right then and there.
David?
Rory, we know on OHU next week. Just wonder, as that gets closer, just wonder if it is beginning to play more on your mind, particularly when you've got as much downtime as you had last week between tournaments.
No, to be honest, I've been concentrating on this and practice, and that stuff's much more important to me than what's going to happen next week. So, I haven't. After this tournament's over, I'll have to do my homework a little bit over it. But at the same time, it's I'm fully focused on this event and golf, and trying to do the best I can this week.
I know you can't talk about the details of it, but is there a sense that you just want to get it over with, that it'll just be a huge relief and you'll be able to draw a line and move forward?
Yeah, of course. It's not something that I would want anyone to go through. It's a very sort of tedious and nasty process at times. Yeah, look, I'm going to be heading to the States regardless with it off my mind and not having to deal with it or think about it. It's going to be, that'll be it. So it will be nice once it's over and done with. Yeah.
Martin?
Rory Mcilroy said yesterday in a way he was glad that what happened in Abu Dhabi did, but said it was a life lesson. When you think back to the Masters in 2011, do you relate?
It was the most important day of my career. Yeah, by bar none. It was the most important day, because if I hadn't have had that happen to me, who knows where I would have been. I learned so much from that day. I learned not what, I learned, what I shouldn't do when I'm in that situation again. So, you learn way more from those days than you do from victories. And I obviously know how Martin's feeling about that. And, they're important lessons to learn, and everyone needs to go through them at some point in their life, whether it's golf or whatever else. Everyone makes mistakes, and that's where you learn, and that's how you move on and become better at whatever you want to do.
And you understand what he means when he said overconfidence maybe played a part in what happened in Abu Dhabi? Fine line.
Yeah, I would never have, I wouldn't have put what happened to me at Augusta to overconfidence. It was more tentativeness and defensive really, where, Martin had such a big lead that, I can see where you can get a little bit complacent, and so, but yeah, it's good that he's learned from it and move on and, not make the same mistake again.
Rory, you said that your short game needed to be you said that your short game needed to be sharper in Abu Dhabi, and yet you still managed to shoot a comparatively very low number. I mean, as an early marker, it wasn't too shabby, was it?
No, it was great to shoot 18 under par for 4 days. I think I hit like 89% of the greens. So when you're doing that, you're giving yourself so many birdie chances. I'd like to think that you shoot a little bit under par. But yeah, there's a few, just as I said there earlier about just not being wasteful and, maybe getting up and down a couple more times around, or, even once, there's a lot of times, even on Sunday, where like I had under 100 yards to the pin on 11, didn't make birdie. Only had a wedge in my hand on 16, didn't make birdie. Just stuff like that where you can just get a little bit more efficient, I guess, and take advantage of the of how you're hitting the ball to the greens.
Derek, last one, please.
Sorry to return to next week, but do you have a rough outline at this stage of when you'll first be in court and for how long? And is there any possibility at all, do you think, of it being settled on the court?
You'd have to ask my lawyers about that. I'm just being told what to do and when to be there and where to be, and that's really it. So,
when do you have to be there?
Well, I get into Dublin Monday, and then I guess it starts Tuesday.
That's press conferences are John. Good luck this week.